Hey everyone, my name is Rooster and welcome back to Mechabellum. In today's video, I'm going to be playing against an army of Assault Mode Marksmen and countering it with one of the biggest units in the game, the Factory. Now, having a look at my packs, I'll be settling for one of the Spider packs here most likely, because I'm not a big fan of Cost Control and Saber openers, and the Sledgehammer pack has too few hit points for me. I'll go for the Training Specialist. It's a nice thing to pair up with Spiders, because they can have some problems leveling early, so having that intensive training available off the get-go is very helpful. I'll be up against Dachshund, who starts with a Rhino Specialist and a Hound and Sledgehammer opener, and we will be playing aggressive here at the start, of course, because, well, that's the best case scenario typically for Spiders. It is a bit of a tough matchup, though, on round 1. Lots and lots of hit points on the enemy field, and I don't feel like buying Marksman here. I typically just want to pair the Spiders with Phoenixes. And actually, that's what we're going to do on round 1. We are going to buy a Phoenix with that 50 extra supplies we get from the Training Specialist. I also level a Spider because there's no way it's going to level on its own on round 1 anyway, with having this high of a leveling threshold. And that should at least allow me to win by default because my opponent goes for double crawler. Also plays aggressive here and we are in a headbutt, which I'm pretty happy with. But yeah, without a Phoenix here, we would definitely struggle just because of how much stuff there is on the enemy board. And we can speed things up here a little bit as my Tarantulas are killing the Sledgehammers, and eventually the Phoenixes will simply clear everything. Looks like we will even keep one of our Tarantulas alive. And that is a very good first round for us. Now, round number 2, immediately we have to deal with unit reinforcements. And I am thinking here about the Steel Ball, perhaps on the right side of the field. There is, of course, something to be said for the Wasp pack as well. It does well into the Phantom Ray, and neither of us right now can really deal with it. And that is what Dachshund will be picking up. But I'm thinking, whenever I see this level 2 Steel Ball pack and I'm playing aggro, I kind of like to try and transition almost into a Ball Wraith comp, or at least have one side of the board that is like Ball plus Wraith, because it's such a powerful combination, and having a level 2 Steel Ball on round 2 is hard to deal with for almost any comp, as you will know. I mean, it's very annoying when your opponent gets an instantly leveled Steel Ball after round 1. And so that's exactly what we'll be doing. We'll pick up the Steel Ball here and try to set up for a Wraith next turn. So I do leave some space here in front. And then we'll add a Crawler just in case my opponent tries to go for some type of cheese, puts down a missile, which they don't put down the missile, but they do try to go for a cheese with the Wasp. And even though I can't shoot up on the right side, I think the Wasps won't be able to kill any of this. And we'll just be able to get to the tower and at the same time pull these Wasps away from my tower. We have a Crawler showing up on the shallow flank now. I added a Crawler here in between the Spiders to try and make sure that the Crawlers would go straight instead of splitting up 3 different ways. Opponent goes for Marksman, and immediately when I saw this tech bar, I thought to myself, okay, that is looking kind of spicy. We've got range, quick reload, assault mode, and elite Marksman. No AA, no EMP, no double shot. And this really does look like a setup that is meant to exclusively play assault mode. And so already I'm a little bit wary and thinking, what do I want to play into that if it does show up? And yeah, as we thought here, Steel Balls, only one of them dying. Wasps getting pulled away from my tower, and it will clean them up on round 2. Which yields another round win. Phoenixes ready to level, intensive training back off cooldown, and now we have a heavy armor showing up, which is such a good item for the Steel Balls. Smart Marksman, though, also shows up, and my opponent immediately goes for it, clicks the assault mode, and yeah, I think with that card, commits to playing this unit. I'm surprised I go for the heavy armor here on the Tarantula, although this is kind of the part of the board that is having to deal with the most stuff. Right side, I still feel like I am the stronger army. And we will keep pushing in there. Opponent, though, sells out of Wasp immediately, puts a missile on the crawlers, levels the tower, puts an assault mode marksman there, but we added a Wraith, and I doubt that he'll be able to deal with this on his own. Right side pushing in, and we will be locking onto that tower. Left side, though, looking somewhat dire. I mean, we do get the debuff, so that helps a lot. Level 2 Phoenixes also have a lot more damage available to get rid of the Assault Mode Marksman, but yeah, suddenly there are so many hit points on the field that I am struggling to keep up with everything. And as my tower gets taken, this Marksman that was spawning on the flank manages to kill some Phoenixes, grab a level, and that'll be all that he does. But I think Doxon here already managing to get some pretty nice, like, small victories, grabbing himself some experience. Now, round 4, we get Incendiary Bomb, which could be good on the left side, but I decided to pick up a second Intensive Training instead. I level up my Wraith, which I already did last round, and I decided to buy another Steel Ball because I see that my opponent has access to the Rhino, and I'm kind of expecting that to show up on the left side if he decides to keep it, so that's why I pick up a Steel Ball, level it, and kind of make sure that it is able to deal with anything that would be running towards my left tower. It also isn't the worst into Assault Mode Marksman if it can get the lock first, but now with the range tech being clicked as well on round 4, I'm not so sure this will do too well. Decide to add another Spider here. I kind of need High Explosive, I think, to be able to get rid of these Crawlers and Hounds quicker than I'm doing now. Again, Beacon on the right tower. Another Marksman got added over there, but I still would imagine that we do okay here. Opponent doesn't miss on the Crawlers, so already that's causing some trouble for him. Steel Balls, yeah, they did, well, I want to say alright, but they mostly fed more experience, I feel, to the Marksmen, who are now almost all ready to level. We finally do push in on the right side, get that tower debuff, but it's a very close affair on the left side. The Phoenixes are still doing fantastic, of course. 55k damage done so far and still ticking up. But this Marksman on a mission, trying to go for my tower. We will grab the debuff first and hopefully will prevent the debuff from coming through. And we grab another victory. Now sending Doxon down to 1600 hit points. Round number 5. Laser Sight shows up, picked up for Doxon. Underground Threat looks pretty decent here. I am a little bit vulnerable to it, or well, very vulnerable to it even. And so maybe that is worth considering. Could also pick up the Laser Sight, of course, throw that onto a Phoenix. But instead I go for the Underground Threat defensively. Right side, again, we're going to try and push in, but this does get missiled. I tried to add a Crawler here on the right side to try and pull this Marksman because it's behind the tower, hoping that that'll give me another chance to grab this tower debuff, but another Crawler now gets added to the front as well. And in the meantime, we've leveled more Spiders. Managed to grab a level 3. Level 3 Phoenixes as well. I decided to pick up another Phoenix pack on the left and level that with the Intensive that's off cooldown, because I need something to help out on the left side. These Steel Balls, they didn't really do too much, as you can see. 1000 damage, mostly feeding experience, so the idea was good. I guess that Phoenixes in the end would have been plenty to deal with these this Rhino. Level 3 tower now as well on the right side, and at this point, once I see that, I feel like the only thing I can do is just sell, because pushing into this tower with the Assault Mode Marksman, it's just going to be too slow in the end. So I kind of have to pivot away from the left, or from the right side to the left, and yeah, strengthen my army. But man, Rhino here, managing to get quite a few chops off onto my large Tarantula, and that makes a massive difference, because I don't think these Marksmen really had the damage to quickly dispatch of it themselves. Crawlers are moving in, but I think eventually there's just going to be too much Marksman Too many left alive. And that will be around victory there for Doxon. We don't even manage to get into the right side tower as the steel balls all die. And yeah, I didn't really manage to touch any of these marksmen. So that doesn't bode too well. Round number 6, efficient tech research this time shows up. Amplifying core is also a nice idea. But I haven't teched anything yet, so I felt like grabbing that card made a lot of sense. Doxon will go for it as well. And this is where I start selling out of units. But I am in a bit of a transitional phase, so I am kind of expecting to lose a few rounds here because I'm selling out of this Wraith on the right side. The steel ball's getting beaconed over, but I probably want to sell that as well. This steel ball over here also isn't really doing much, so I would like to sell that too, but that's going to take me multiple rounds. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I could build more Phoenixes and go charge shot, but I think I'd rather try and play War Factory or maybe Fortress, depending on, well, what's available. Because those two units tend to do better into the Marksman. But until I have the money to be able to afford that and create the space to be able to put down a War Factory, I'll have to do something else. And so I decided to go for more crawlers here and click loose formation alongside range and high explosive on the tarantulas to 1, chaff clear better, hopefully allowing my Phoenixes to lock on, and 2, try and distract the marksman because this chaff clear right now is mostly assault mode marksman and they're not the best at chaff clearing. Especially if the crawlers are more spread out like that, he should have a worse time chaff clearing. Steel balls though, again, you can see not really doing what I would like them to. And yeah, left side. Phoenix is just collapsing a bit too quick. I was hoping the crawlers here would do a little bit more. That doesn't seem to be the case. The Phoenixes here will lock on. Because of the range I clicked on the Tarantula, they're now getting in front of my Spider and taken out by the Marksman. So another round loss here, and that's a lot of levels. That smart Marksman doing a lot of work. Round 7, we get a bunch of unit drops. Fortress is included, but at this point I'm thinking maybe these marksmen are too high level for Fortress to work. I wasn't quite sure. So I really wanted to just try and play War Factory. And the Farseer didn't look too bad either. Farseer is quite good into marksman, or assault mode marksman at least, because it has access to that cheap EMP. And then on top of that, it also could give photon coating to my tanky ground units. And then aside from that, my anti-air ability isn't the strongest. And so yeah, I will be picking up the Farseer, selling out of the Steel Ball, but that means that I'll have to delay the War Factory for one more turn. Oh, never mind, we will be purchasing it now. Okay, that's a good thing. Immediately using that intensive. Leveling a Spider along the way as well. I don't quite have the money here to grab one of the techs. I think I'd like something like Launcher Overload. I could, I guess, loan, but round 7 and having to pay for the upkeep next round, I was feeling like a level 2 factory should be able to just do the job. And let's see how this performs. The nice thing about factory is it has enough damage to take out the assault mode marksman, while at the same time it tends to be a little bit too tanky for the marksman to do much to it. And yeah, you can see here, even the high level marksmen that are locked on aren't really managing to do too much. But sadly, my opponent went for Overlord, and my Phoenixes again managed to die. And as the Tower debuff comes in, it looks like my factory will go down, and actually I take way more damage here than I was expecting. So we're still in a little bit of trouble, where our anti-air doesn't seem to be sufficient. Round number 8 now, I think. Yep. Orbital Bombardment shows up, and Incendiary Bomb as well. I think there was an extended range Phoenix there that might have been worth picking up, because I decided to skip instead. I think I should have picked that up just to create a little bit more range. But instead I ranged my Phoenixes. Keep in mind we do have efficient tech research, so even though I only have one Phoenix pack now, selling the other to fit a second factory, I feel like one level 3 Phoenix should be enough to take out the Overlord as long as we can win the ground fast enough. But I'm really not too happy about this orbital, because I would like to buy more chaff, alongside of course the factory, as I want to try and punish the lack of chaff there on his end more. But the orbital here will probably help him out a bit, taking out some of my smaller units. We pick up range and overload on the factories. And steel balls here, trying to kind of pull them into the right side, hoping to distract some of the enemy units, preventing them from going to my tower, because this is still level 1. And let's have a look. Yeah, you can see here the orbital is hitting some of the crawler packs. And that means that a lot of my more important units are sitting in the open. Phoenixes for now still looks like they are going to survive, although this marksman knows the mission, it seems, goes for my Phoenix, and sadly we're not quite able to finish off that Overlord. As the debuff comes in and the Overlord DPSs down my factory, we're going to take another round loss. Now down to 1,000 hit points. And round number 9, another one of these spells shows up. Lightning Storm this time around. Not ideal for me, because again, I would like to buy more chaff to try and punish the lack of chaff clear, but Lightning Storm is fantastic at making sure your opponent has a little bit less chaff. It's really good at taking down these clumps of smaller units. So we'll have to deal with it. Probably need to invest into at least a couple shields. Another intensive training will be used to create a second level 2 war factory. Right side, these steel balls can probably get sold. I am a little bit antsy though about the right side, and it seems like that will get attacked this time around. Triple blue marksman with full techs, aiming at my level 1 tower. Probably need to level that at least once, maybe twice. We decide to pick up the photon coating, as well the stats are really nice in this type of a headbutt scenario, and I think my units should be able to make good use of it. Still not buying more anti-air, just kind of hoping that I'll be able to clear the ground. I can also afford to still lose another round, as long as not too many things survive. And I'll be trying to pull the enemy units over to the left side, but it doesn't seem like that'll be possible. Opponent beacons the marksman in. I did level the tower at least once, because I was expecting something to happen there. And at least for now, the crawlers are doing a decent job of stalling. Fangs as well, doing okay. War Factory is locked on. We'll be getting rid of the enemy marksman, but whoa, one of these, level 6, dealing a lot of damage. And then my tower goes down. The Phoenix, it is locked onto the enemy Overlord, but I think again here, we're not quite going to be able to get things done, as the Overlord lives on one sliver of hit points. But lucky for us, we did calculate correctly, and we won't quite be dead that turn. Hopefully no more spells this time around. Won't be the case, but there are a whole bunch of units available there. Opponent actually doesn't go for the Mustangs, which I was kind of expecting them to, as that should be a pretty decent counter against the loose formation crawlers, but they just go for the money, selling the Sabertooth. I do the same thing. Pick up a third factory here, aiming them at the right side. Should be plenty to be able to get rid of these units. But now, more Overlords picked up. Opponents realizing that I am kind of weak to air units, and try to pressure the right side even more. I'll pick up more crawlers on the right side as well. Just trying to make sure this factory has some backup. Now, there's no upshoot on the right side, but I think this factory should be able to tank the overlords for a bit, and as long as it can take down a few of these marksmen, I'm pretty happy. And this is kind of the moment of truth. Like, can we win the left side without the spells being involved? Is the judgment correct here that my chaff is going to be enough to distract and the factories can finally do their job? Keep in mind also, I lost one of my 2 phoenixes last round to the storm, so I still think this phoenix should be able to do its job. But it'll have to this round, because otherwise I'm going to be losing. Alright, here we go. Left side is looking decent. We are locked on to the enemy marksman. Phoenix looking much more healthy this time around. Factory on the right side has gone down, but has also managed to take out a couple of marksmen along the way. And left side, I still have 2 factories left alive. We'll grab a debuff. Phoenixes will be sitting very safely behind my factory this time around. Take down a second overlord. And while the third overlord takes my tower, there's not really much left alive to make use of that debuff. You walk towards the second tower. It is level 3, but with the factory and the level 3 or level 4 phoenixes, doesn't take too long to take that down. We get rid of the final overlord and 2 factories left alive, 2 farseers, a spider, and a phoenix will make sure that we do take the win here on round 10. Very close game. Assault mode marksman there actually doing much better than I expected. It took me a bit of time to get this comp going. Needed multiple rounds to, well, grab a couple factories, defend the right side accordingly. The Phoenix is also not really performing that well, partially because of the spells, but I probably should have kept some others. A main issue I had here is I didn't really plan for the factory, and that's something that you kind of need to do if you want to play it. I had some steel balls here that were in the way, not leaving a 7x7 square. I had a Phoenix there as well, blocking the path. And yeah, having to sell out of everything here. The right side push kind of being dealt with over time meant that I had to, yeah, reallocate a whole bunch of resources and rebuy units. And, well, you can see it made for a close game. Anyway, if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of War Factory or Assault Mode Marksman. They did get buffed recently. Have you tried it out? Let me know. If you want to stay up to date with latest content, please consider subscribing. And if you want to see me play live, check me out on Twitch. With that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.